Kazuho, the male protagonist of the story, has superpowers. He can control his dreams and fall in love with women of different races. The elf girl is beautiful, the dragon girl is sexy, domineering, and the cat girl is very cute. One day, Kazuho wakes up early to find that the spirit in his dream has appeared in the real world. What the hell is going on in all this? And whether the other wives that Kazuho dreamed of will also travel to Earth. Welcome to subscribe to my channel and let's start today's story right away. Kazuho has a secret that he can control himself to travel to the otherworld adventure of his dreams. Real life is boring in comparison, so Kazuho never attends dinners organized by his colleagues, and he comes home from work on time every day to dream. That night, he travels into a dream and meets Marie, a fairy girl, and the relationship between the two of them is currently a little ambiguous. Marie was attracted to the bento made by Kazuho and always found the boy attractive. Here's a new premise that some items in the real world can be taken with you. The two of them agreed to explore the ruins and accidentally encountered a dragon. The enemy was far superior to Kazuho and Marie, both of whom were burned to ashes by the dragon. When Kazuho dies in a dream, he will wake up in the real world, but he didn't expect that this time the awakening was very special, and Marie was lying next to Kazuho. Marie is woken up by Kazuho, who realizes that her clothes are missing and immediately wraps herself in the quilt. Kazuho buys new clothes for Marie, and when he comes home, he sees Marie appreciating the world, and the strange earth is just like Kazuho's bento, which is full of attraction for Marie. Kazuho decided to take Marie on a short trip first to get a feel for the world. Marie learned for the first time that Kazuho had traveled to her world through dreams. Kazuho suspects that the two of them were killed by the dragon last night, so Marie followed Kazuho back to the real world, and tonight they were sleeping with them, and Kazuho might be able to take Marie back in time. After chatting about her return plans, Marie tasted Japanese food and watched the cherry blossoms dance in the wind. Marie held Kazuho and they were like a pair of lovers. Marie took a hot shower for the first time that night, and as soon as she got out of the bathroom, she saw that Kazuho had prepared a sumptuous dinner, and Marie was immersed in the temptation of delicious food and had the idea of marrying Kazuho. Marie learns from the chat that the only things Kazuho can bring to the other world are bento boxes and drinks, as if a god is secretly setting the rules of the game to decide what items to bring with him through the crossing. After the small talk, Kazuho asks Marie for information about the dragon to prevent him from being burned to death by the dragon when he travels back. When Kazuho learns that dragons love to go to a human city and that the city is famous for its beer, Kazuho immediately comes up with a plan to deal with them. It was late at night, and Kazuho lay down next to Marie, and the two of them hugged each other a little shyly. After they fell asleep, the two of them traveled together to the other world where Marie lived. They were attacked by the dragon, and Kazuho immediately brought out the gift he had prepared. It's a beer from Japan, and Kazuho guesses that the dragon sneaked into the human city because he liked the taste of beer. Intrigued by the smell of beer, the dragon agrees to make peace with the two intruders, but the dragon needs Kazuho to explain why he is still there after he has been burned. To facilitate conversation, the dragon spat out a cloud of light from its mouth, revealing her transformation into a human when the light dissipated. Kazuho didn't hide it from her, confessing that he was able to travel through another world through dreams. The dragon envied Marie's journey through time. Her name was Ridra, and she was particularly fond of food and wine in the human world. Ridra gave away a piece of dragon scales and a gem stained with dragon blood in exchange for a lunch box with Kazuho. The dragon gets a chance to feast, and Kazuho gets the chance to befriend the dragon and take two treasures with him. After solving the safety problem, Kazuho took Marie back to Japan, and they began to live together. Kazuho would drink with Marie every day after work and introduce Marie to Marie about Japanese customs. They would fall asleep with each other every night, and venture out into another world between late night and dawn. Kazuho has a skill that allows him to teleport once a day, whether in Japan or in another world. Kazuho is like a guide, taking Marie through the scenery of both worlds. The two of them run into a risk while exploring a quarry. The quarry has been abandoned for many years, and some robbers usually live here. The bandit leader wanted to rob Kazuho and Marie, so he sent a girl to deal with them. The girl looks very young, but she is very powerful, and she summons a monster to assist in the battle. Sensing danger, Kazuho quickly hugged Marie. After they were killed, they traveled back to Earth, and Kazuho was glad that he was fast enough. Otherwise Marie would have died in the other world if she was killed by the monster. Kazuho had already figured out a way to deal with the attack, but his plan would have to wait another day to materialize. Kazuho decides to take Marie out for a walk to ease the tension. Marie saw a cat for the first time on Earth, and she thought the creature was cute, new, and different from the monsters of another world. Kazuho then takes Marie to the library, where Marie is introduced to fairy tale books, and Kazuho introduces her to new friends. When Marie went home in the evening, she watched the anime recommended by Kazuho, and at the end of the day, Marie was very fulfilling, and the tension of dying had completely left her. Marie prepares to take a hot shower and then discusses with Kazuho plans to return to another world. Unexpectedly, there was a sudden earthquake in Japan, and Marie ran out of the bathroom without clothes. But fortunately, Kazuho was kind and didn't take advantage of her. Once Marie gets dressed again, she listens to Kazuho's plans. It's also very simple to say. Kazuho can use the teleportation opportunity once a day to escape directly from the bandits' territory. Kazuho's biggest concern is not safety, but the girl who drove the monster to attack them. Judging from the girl's expression, Kazuho didn't want to kill, and the girl was more like she was being controlled by a robber. Kazuho guessed correctly. The girl controlled by the robbers was named Mui, and she was a girl from the cat people. Grandpa is killed by bandits, and Mui is coerced into joining them by bandits because of her ability to manipulate monsters. At this time, Kazuho and Marie are unaware of Mui's past, and they travel back to another world to start fighting. Marie summons light spirits to help her become invisible, and then summons 10 fire spirits to wreak havoc everywhere, changing positions and attacking, temporarily holding down the monsters controlled by Mui. Kazuho takes advantage of this opportunity to quickly approach Mui, and the cat girl has a panicked expression and is shackled on her hands and feet, which further confirms Kazuho's suspicions that Mui was forced to work for the bandits. Kazuho and Mui use the exclusive language of the cat people, and Kazuho is not as vicious as the bandits. Mui has a particularly good impression of him, and under Kazuho's persuasion, Mui tells the story of his grandfather's murder and his own kidnapping. It was at this time that the bandit leader and his subordinates surrounded Kazuho, and he offered to exchange the stones that controlled Mui for the treasures in Kazuho's backpack. Kazuho didn't expect that the bandit leader had a special skill that could sense the presence of treasures. The enemy was stronger than Kazuho had anticipated, but he did not give in, knowing that the bandits could not really keep their promise to let Mui go. Kazuho then took the lead in the surprise attack, using teleportation to destroy the stone that controlled Mui, and then continued to use teleportation and super agility to dodge attacks from enemies. Kazuho's class has its own unique skills that allow you to create your own illusions, making it difficult to find your true nature with teleportation enemies. It's just that this time the enemy is very difficult, and the bandit leader actually used his skills to sense Marie's existence, and Kazuho had to show up to intercept the killer, but he didn't expect the bandit leader to release range magic and attack with his subordinates. But fortunately, Kazuho reacted quickly enough to not be seriously injured. Mui then gave the monster back the stone that controlled the monster, and she had heard her grandfather tell her that it was the cat people who dug up the stone that caused the monster to wake up, and now it was time to put an end to it. When the monster burrowed into the ground, the earthquake loosened the ground, and an underground labyrinth appeared. The king immediately sent someone to take over the land, and was about to organize an exploration of the underground labyrinth. Kazuho entrusted Mui to the army sent by the king, and the descendants of the cat clan have a talent for identifying treasures, and Mui is just in time to help analyze the results of the exploration, and she can also be protected by the army. The first round of exploration into the labyrinth was completed by the army organization, and they brought back some information and treasures. The second round of exploration will be open to members of the royal family, as well as Kazuho and Marie, who enjoy the privileges bestowed by the king as discoverers of the underground labyrinth. Kazuho still has a lot to prepare before the second round of exploration begins. The climate in the area was hot, and Marie's clothes were too stuffy, so Kazuho chose a new dress for him, and the fabric was rarely particularly cool to wear. At this time, the commander in charge of the exploration work entrusted Kazuho to be the translator, and there were too few humans who were proficient in the cat language, so Kazuho met with Mui again. Together, they worked together to study the gems of the underground labyrinth, and Mui once again demonstrates his racial talent. Kazuho suddenly thought of the gems and dragon scales that Ridra had given him, and asked Mui to help them identify them. Mui noticed strange fluctuations in power on the scales, and Kazuho, fearing that Ridra was in danger, immediately took Marie to check on the situation. Luckily, nothing bad happened, but Ridra succeeded in hatching the eggs. The mother dragon was tired of living in solitude, and now she was able to leave her dragon body behind to take care of her offspring, and she could transform into a human to go out and play. Kazuho remembers that she planned to take Marie to the hot springs, and invites Ridra to join her on the hot springs trip to help the dragon overcome postpartum depression. The trouble is that Ridra's clothes disappear during the crossing, and her figure is particularly sexy, and Kazuho's shirt doesn't fit. Marie is jealous and determined not to let Kazuho peek at Ridra. Luckily, magic is also useful in this world, and Ridra has conjured up a suitable outfit for herself, and everyone can finally get out of the house. On Kazuho's drive to the hot springs, Ridra didn't show surprise when she first came into contact with the car or the building. Dragons are extremely adaptable to learning. The only thing that can impress Ridra is the food, which is very common in Japan. But the dragon bows its head, and if she wants to be approved by Ridra, she only needs to satisfy her stomach. When Marie got out of the car, she was afraid of causing panic among humans, and subconsciously used her hat to cover the elf's pointed ears. Ridra saw this scene and used magic to help Marie disguise herself, so that it would be much easier for Marie to go out in the future. Marie and Ridra were thrilled to experience the spa like nothing they had ever experienced before in their world. While soaking in the hot springs, two women of different races chatted about intimate topics. Ridra was able to hear the conversation between Kazuho and Marie through the scales she sent, and Ridra had always known that the two young people had a crush on each other, but neither of them had any experience in love, so the two did not confirm their relationship. Marie was both shy and expectant about the topic, and she began to test Kazuho under Ridra's teaching. In fact, the method is very simple. That is, Marie suddenly kisses Kazuho's forehead, and the boy shows signs of burning and blushing on his forehead, and his shy reaction has revealed a good impression of Marie. After lunch, Marie went to sleep drunk. Marie enjoyed the hot springs, and Kazuho's forehead was still a little hot. On the way back, Marie was still asleep when Ridra told Kazuho that she wanted to explore the underground labyrinth together. Kazuho worries that Ridra's child is too lonely, and Ridra explains that her doppelganger can help take care of the child. The dragon was tired of life in the ruins, and she craved food, beer, and adventure, and Kazuho finally agreed. In order to facilitate her movements, Ridra deliberately changed her appearance to hide her tail and dragon horns, which directly led to the next battle. They were stopped by a man named Sven, who belonged to the Wizards Guild and was a high-ranking mage with Marie. Sven has a particularly bad reputation for coercing people with force. Since the appearance of the underground labyrinth, Sven has planned to monopolize all the wealth within. After researching many competitors, he found that Kazuho was the most threatening. After an in-depth follow-up investigation, Sven confirmed that Kazuho had a good relationship with the monsters in the ruins. So Sven decides to kill Kazuho to prevent the other party from teaming up with monsters to dominate the underground labyrinth. Sven never imagined that the monster he found was the woman next to Kazuho. The battle soon begins, with Sven's companions launching a sneak attack, trapping Ridra and Marie with magic, and Sven personally dealing with Kazuho. This battle was very dangerous for Kazuho. Sven had a wealth of attack tools at his disposal, and his defense was also amazing, and Kazuho was unable to break through the defenses with all means. Sven's eyes can see through and parse the battle mode at high speed to dodge completely. The situation on Kazuho's side is very passive, while Ridra's side is very relaxed. She just summons the dragon's coercion, and makes her opponents surrender in extreme fear. Ridra doesn't help Kazuho. The other world is full of dangers, and she hopes that Kazuho can grow through setbacks. Kazuho lived up to Ridra's expectations, and he found a way to win. Sven predicts that the opponent's attack has a premise, and that is that the opponent has been following a certain pattern. So Kazuho chose to change his fighting style, and as a swordsman, he gave up attacking with his sword and kicked Sven to the ground. Eventually, Sven was imprisoned in the Wizards Guild's prison, and a long life as a prisoner awaited him. The main characters embark on a new journey, and Ridra and Mui work together to help Marie upgrade her wand. After that, they went to buy some daily necessities, and the underground labyrinth was very mysterious, and no one knew how long it would take to return. So before the official departure, Kazuho and Marie returned to Earth for a few more days of peaceful life. They went shopping like a couple, and ate ice cream together by the lake. Marie enjoyed the moment, and wondered why Ridra was so greedy that she didn't come with her. Kazuho guessed why, and Ridra wanted to leave Kazuho and Marie alone time so that the two of them could become lovers. In order to repay Ridra, Kazuho prepared a large meal for her the day before exploring the labyrinth. Ridra has the ability to dominate another world, but she has no ambition. As mentioned earlier, to capture Ridra, you don't need combat power, you just need a beer and a big meal. The group had a pleasant evening, after which they began to explore the labyrinth in earnest. The murals in the labyrinth record the civilization of the ancestors. At that time, there was no day in the other world, only endless night, and all living beings were pale. It was the era of monsters, and strangely, there was not a single monster in the underground labyrinth. Everyone speculated that it was the advance force sent by the king to destroy the ancient monsters in the underground labyrinth. Kazuho was relieved that he didn't have to fight, but Ridra didn't let him go, and in order to help Kazuho improve his combat effectiveness, he personally hunted down Kazuho. The story of Another World ends in a relaxed atmosphere, and the rest of the story will unfold in Japan. Kazuho takes Marie to visit her grandfather, who lives in the countryside, and this trip pulls in their relationship. The first time Kazuho fed Marie, his face flushed like a ripe apple. Marie, a visitor from another world, was attracted by the idyllic scenery along the way, and kept exclaiming along the way. Marie's first up-close sight of a cow was as shocking as seeing a dragon for the first time. Kazuho's grandfather is easy to get along with, which takes some of Marie's nervousness away. The advantage of staying in the mountains is that the ingredients are fresh and delicious, and the sound of the food boiling continues to raise Marie's appetite. While Kazuho and Marie are walking to sober up, Marie successfully summons the spirit of light for the first time. The dim woods are illuminated by the elves, injecting some more sense of wonder into the night. Another day later, Marie and Kazuho meet up to go to the hot springs. Ever since her last soaking in the hot springs, Marie has fallen in love with this pastime. This time she gained a new experience, and the local aunt was very enthusiastic and took the initiative to talk to her. A foreigner, although Marie couldn't understand the local dialect spoken by her aunt, she was still infected by the enthusiasm of the other party, and it was the first time to experience such a lively hot spring. After that, Kazuho drove his grandfather's truck and took Marie on his way to the local attractions. Marie saw the most famous cherry blossoms in Japan, and Kazuho took a photo of Marie enjoying the flowers, and he was like a guide, patiently explaining the history of his hometown. In the evening, Marie waited for her most anticipated event, and Kazuho bought her a lot of snacks. Marie was in such a good mood that she couldn't help but kiss Kazuho, and at this moment it was as if time had been pressed the pause button. Afterwards, both of them were very shy. They were a little weak-hearted, and the atmosphere became strange. It wasn't until Kazuho took a shower in the evening that Marie finally mustered up the courage to talk to him through the bathroom door. When they learned that this was each other's first kiss, they were very happy. After a while, Kazuho's grandfather also came to help, and he was eager for Marie to be his grandson's wife. This old man is not an ordinary person. He even knows that Kazuho has the ability to travel through the world, and he also knows that Marie is an interracial girl, and it seems that he also has the ability to travel through the world. With Grandpa's support, Kazuho and Marie's relationship has taken a step further. They held hands and walked in the sunset, and finally became the one they loved the most. Congratulations, I've watched another anime review on my channel, and you are welcome to rate it in the comment area. This is a special anime. It has neither otherworldly dominating elements, nor is it a pure love anime. It is more like a Japanese travel promotional film, with a slow pace and a display of Japan's scenery, food, and history. I wonder if there will be more creatures from other worlds yearning for it, and joining the team to travel through Japan after this anime is broadcast. Well, that's all for this video. If you like this video, don't forget to like it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. There are also many funny anime reviews on my channel. See you in the next video.